Well, greetings and salutations, and welcome back to the second half of today's upload. This is something very new, and I may continue doing it if I get a positive feedback on it. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's second half. Shall we? All right, guys. Today I want to do something a little different. It's a beautiful day in upstate New York. I've got the Hudson River behind me, and behind you guys is a swamp, which I'll show you momentarily. A couple things that I want to kind of discuss with you guys, and just do something a little different. I wanted to really get outside today, but I also wanted to work on some videos as well. So I was like, you know what? Let's combine both together. I am, as the crow flies, that way 3 miles from where I had my Dogman encounter. That way, a 1/8 of a mile is a boat launch that back in the late 70s, early 80s, a father and son had a Bigfoot encounter. I made a video about it I think in November, and what had happened is they were coming down this hill, and it's kind of a wind, and on the one side is a cliff, an embankment. On the other side is a wall. They were coming down to just go and look at the boat launch. It's really beautiful out here. And the dad thought he had seen a human running through the woods and traversing the terrain. Well, then he realized that no human being could do this. He kind of got freaked out a little bit. They went back, turned in the parking area, locked the doors, and zoomed up the hill. This encounter is on a Bigfoot site. I don't remember which one, but yeah, I've collected a whole bunch of encounters that are from my area. There's been a couple books written about the Adirondacks and wild men encounters. So I'm down here, and I've got the beautiful Hudson River behind me. It's a 55-degree day, absolutely gorgeous, and you guys have a swamp behind you. So I'll show you what the swamp looks like real quick. So this is the swamp that is behind you, and then here's the logging road that I'm on, and then here's the Hudson, and then the logging road, and back to the swamp. This swamp is where, if that family, or father and son, that Bigfoot would have eventually run into this swamp area. So it's pretty beautiful, actually. I don't know. I like this area. I've always liked this area since I was a little kid. Used to fish down here. So I've gotten a couple of emails. One thing that I want to talk about. I've gotten a couple of emails in regards to a video. I think it's Israeli news. I don't know why it's called Israeli news. The guy's American. But he had made a video this morning claiming that there were military deployment to Colorado. There's been 2 videos out since, or 1 video since. There's 2 today. So I kind of looked into it, and I was like, well, you've got some state parks and you've got some national parks. For state, you've got Bar Lake, Cheyenne Mountain, Crawford, 11 Mile, Jackson Lake, John Martin, Lake Pablo, Mancos, Ridgeway, St. Vrain, Sawton, Steamboat Lake, and Trinidad Lake. For national Colorado parks, you've got Bent's Old Fort National Historic Site, Black Canyon of Gunson National Park, Colorado National Monument, the Kirkantee National Recreational Area, the Dinosaur National Monument, a place that I've always wanted to go, the Florissant Fossil Beds and National Monument, the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, the Hoven Weep National Monument, Mesa Verde, the Rocky Mountain National Park, Sand Creek Massacre National Historic Site, and the Yucca House National Monument. So, the video that I did earlier today, I had discussed about a police officer who reached out to me, a sheriff, and he lived in Colorado. I reached out to him and I emailed him. Hopefully he responds to me and he can give me some insight on this, because he still is in law enforcement and still has a handler. Now I was thinking about this and I'm like, well, Colorado. Well, supposedly there are these weaponized dogmen and werewolves and these underground facilities that are in Colorado, Oregon, and Virginia. Virginia has been having a lot of disappearances and a lot of bodies being recovered and discovered. All right. Now, Colorado, you've got this military deployment in a national park. He's not letting us know which national park, so I'm a little skeptical on that. I'm not saying it's false or true. I don't know. I'm just looking at it because a lot of people have asked me what I thought about this. So I'm kind of going to give you my insight in what I feel. It could be. It very well could be a true statement. Where he got the statement, I don't know. I looked in there was no links. I watched about 15 minutes of the video and kind of just was like, So yeah, there could be military deployment. Why? Maybe there was a sighting of dogmen. Maybe there was some sort of tourist run-in with Bigfoot. I don't know if tourist season is opened up in this national parks or state parks out that way yet. I know up here that has not. Or maybe it was mistaken identity and it was like a National Guard troop or whatever they're called, platoon, I don't know, going out into the woods to do a cleanup. I don't know. That's another thing I want to touch on really quick before we move on. I don't know anything about the military because I never was in the military. And that's another thing that kind of drives me insane with this like whole YouTube community and all these people that are researching, claiming that they're ex-special forces and they are ex-police officers and ex this and ex that, but they have no documentation proving that they were. And I had been talking to a friend of mine who's also a YouTuber, and I said, you know what's funny is these ex-special forces, ex-men of special forces, I don't buy it. I don't buy a few of them because they've really let themselves go. And if you're in the military and you're ex-special forces, retired, you don't let yourself go and turn into a slug. That's just my opinion, okay? I am not in the best shape. My dad was career Navy, was on a gunboat in Vietnam, in the rivers. My dad weighs like 150 pounds and is like 5'11". That's because he was career military. He didn't let himself go. It's just something that career military don't let happen. It's in their DNA or it's in their regiment. So I don't know about that. I don't know. I wonder why they say it. I wonder why a lot of people say, well, I was a detective or I was this or I was that. Because I think they think that we're going to believe them more. Well, military and police officers, as we all know, lie as well. So why are we supposed to believe them? I mean, I myself have a hard time with it, but that's just me. Getting back to what we were talking about. So it could be that there is some sort of deployment out there, or it could be National Guard. Then another video came out about 2 hours ago. I'm making this video. It's about 3 something right now, 3 in the afternoon. And so a video came out about 1 stating that a Pentagon release has now said it is a giant, some sort of massacre. But I looked in the description and there's no sort of link to this. The guy's got a lot of subscribers, but there's no link. So, and plus he's a YouTuber that his channel says Israeli news, and I'm like, wait, does this guy really have like credentials and clearance to get access to Pentagon information? I don't think so. He looks just like me. He looks like the majority of everyone else on this planet. You know, he does not, and doesn't even speak like he has the credentials to be in that intelligence form. But with some claim like that, you'd think you'd have a backing, especially when you have that many subs. I'm not saying it's fake or not. I'm just kind of repeating or kind of giving you guys my sense of it, because a lot of people reached out to me and asked me what I thought. I think if it was real and he was claiming who he is and what he's got, if you've got that information, you'd best have a backing to at least have, you know, a link to where you got this information from. And don't just say a friend told me. Because that right then, it's hearsay. It's hearsay. It's inadmissible hearsay. You can't believe it. You can't deny it. It's because you're right on the edge there, you know? You're kind of, ooh, do I go this way or do I go this way? It could be true. Do I believe that there's military deployment hunting giants in a national park in Colorado right now? No, I don't. I'm sorry. That's just my belief, my view on the matter. If he had a link stating where he got this Pentagon information, because the Freedom of Information Act is not going to disclose that information that quick. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy a channel that says Israeli news with an American speaking giving me information about giants being massacred in Colorado. I don't know. It's national news, you know? Like, you got to back it up with something. Or it could be true. I don't know. I'm not there. I think it would be cool if it was real. But if that were me, I would do everything in my power to at least make sure I had the backing to prove it. not just set my setup like it's news footage. You know, like I've got a broadcasting center in my living room. Pretty good green set though. Pretty good green screen room. I don't know. That's what sucks about this, is there's a lot of friggin' hoaxers out there. You know? I know what I saw. I know what I felt yesterday, too. And I know I've talked to many people that have had experiences, encounters. And to hear how they describe it and hear the fear, I know these things are real. And they're not anything to be messed with. So, I don't know. That's enough with that. I just wanted to share, because a lot of people reached out to me. Actually, I checked my phone when I had switched the swamp around to see if my daughter had called. And I checked my email quick, and there was an email from someone about that same video. So, I don't know. It'd be awesome if it was real. I mean, but if you got such a claim, if you've got such big news, back it, right? That's just my view. Anyway, let's move on to what happened yesterday with the whole Tom Mezic incident. So, back to what happened yesterday. I get up to Horicon or Grant Lake, and I pull into Lily Pond Road. Now, Lily Pond Road is not like this logging road. It's a fire road. It's pretty rugged. I get up to where Lily Pond Road meets Lily Pond Trail, and I park the car, and I get out, and I start walking down the trail, and I get to the head of the pond. So I round the pond, and I'm kind of like, so here's where I started, and I kind of went out, and I'm right about here. All right. Now, the trail, the fire road is wide enough to fit like a full-size truck down. Not a lot of clearance on both sides, but definitely fit a truck down. The trail turns into kind of like a ATV trail, real small, maybe 3 feet wide. I don't hear anything on my walk to where I was heading. But when I stopped and I turned and I started heading back towards my car, that's when I heard something trailing me on both sides. And it wasn't squirrels, it wasn't bird, it was large. Could have been a dog. I don't know. It didn't sound like a dog, actually. It was big. At that point, I'm thinking in my head, my dad knows where I am, but I'm 3 miles off a main road in a location where a gentleman disappeared 6.5 years ago with a group of friends and firearms. And I don't have, I didn't go armed yesterday. Last time I went up, I brought my PC carbine with me. And this was just I don't know what. I wasn't even going to get out of my car when I got there. I just wanted to kind of drive up and look around and then drive home. So I'm walking, and I see where the trail meets the road, and I can see my car. And I click my fob, and my car unlocks. You hear the beep. And whatever it was that was following me on both sides, mind you, turned and went the opposite direction again. And I got my car and I sat there for a few minutes. And it really freaked me out. I was shaky. I was honestly shaky. I don't get shaky easily. I mean, I've grown up in the Adirondacks. It's just a place that I love. So I don't get too shaky. I then start driving home. It's 4:35, and I start thinking about Tom and how Tom is 200 feet. There's people with walkies and a rifle. And then for some reason the statement that was in the news article popped into my head. We didn't find anything on the ground. And a light went off in my head, guys. And I almost turned around. But then I was like, it's dark out almost. And then I went home and I started to think about the trail, and I started to think about the woods. And how if I look up on this trail, there wasn't, something could have been up in those trees. But where Tom was sitting, Tom was in deep woods. If there was something in those trees, Tom would have not known. He was sort of blind, he was sort of deaf, and it would have not been an issue for a Dogman in the trees to come down and yoke him up, gun and all. He probably had it strapped to him. And there goes Tom. To me, that explanation fits a lot better than an 82-year-old man stumbling through thick terrain and disappearing. And then doing a 5 square mile grid search for him and not finding anything on the ground. What the? Birds. That just makes sense to me. It makes a lot more sense than Tom walking away, someone on an ATV picking him up. There was no foul play. And that kind of freaky mystery. I'm thinking maybe that's why the FBI was involved. Is because maybe someone thought of that after the grid search was done. Because they didn't come in on day 1. They came on day 4. Pretty much when everything was wrapped up almost. So I'm going back. And I'm going to look in the trees, and I'm going to look all around until I find something. I'm going to document everything because I think this is very important. It's not a great mystery, but it's not great, but it's a great mystery of the Adirondacks that hasn't been solved. One that I am completely fascinated with. So, that was it. That was today. That was what I wanted to do today. I hope you guys loved this beautiful terrain that I'm in. There's the Hudson. There's the swamp. So, sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload, or second half, or whatever I decide to post this as. I just wanted to talk about a few things, and I wanted to get outside. I mean, this swamp is so cool. Really, truly beautiful over here. And this is just the foothills of the Adirondacks, guys. Imagine how beautiful the Adirondacks, the deep Adirondacks are. Absolutely gorgeous. So, with that, my friends, please stay safe. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life. Enjoy your day, guys.